Jan the 7th, 2025. We've played 28 games under onslaught, out of which we've won 23, drawn 4, and lost 1. This is not just the overall statistics for the league, it's the League Cup, the Champions League, and the FA Cup, which we are about to play in the next couple of weeks. Um, Having said that, I'm really elated that we're going to be facing Tottenham once again. I seem a little too confident about it, and I am, rightfully. I know we hit a little bit of a blip with the performance that we laid out against Man United, but there are a couple of reasons I have in my mind. I think, um, rationally talking, we've had too many fixtures in a row. United had a week's break, tired legs. You could clearly see the lack of intensity. We couldn't even control the game in certain phases against a team like Man United, who've been struggling so much. Yeah, that's not the point. The point is, we are here to talk about how great a manager we have right now. Who would have thought we'd be topping the charts in the league, in the Champions League, in the Carabao Cup, and now the FA Cup, right? We've done impeccably well so far, and I'm really pleased that we have punched above what we thought we'd be at. Rival fans had actually way down options for us, putting us down to fourth or fifth in the league before the league even started. But now the expectations of us finishing in the top are at a primal existence. But I'm here to talk about the Carabao Cup, the League Cup, the semi finale part one, which will be happening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think what I really like about this game is that we have a manager who is an excellent man manager. He knows how to manage the players. He knows that they are going to get tired, and he has rotated them a lot. Let's just start from the top. Luis Diaz, Gakpo. Without any bullshit, I think Gakpo has been playing so well. He scored 8 goals in 8 League Cup matches, and he's been up there when it comes to the Premier League. Maybe the numbers do not suggest the same, but that guy's movement is so dynamic. He can overlap players, he can underlap, he can cut back, he can square the ball, and he's always really precise with what he does. See, there are two options available: Luis Diaz and Gakpo. And we are the only team in the league right now who have that privilege, right? We've had so much talent, and every winger that we have right now, including the likes of Harvey Elliott, they play at their most pristine levels under onslaught. I don't care if you agree with me or not, but my opinions are pretty strong about what I see. I think the eye test is what you really need when it comes to assessing players on the league level. Um, Salah, man, incredible, unfathomable, legend, king of the league right now. He's bestowed his own legacy in a way in the league. And when it comes to the Hazard and Salah debate, I'm not going to get into these conspiracy, theoretical, arguments. I'm not someone who's going to get into it. But I'm really pleased with the way Salah has punched. I don't care what happened at Anfield that night against Man United. It seemed like a loss. We could have actually lost the game if Harry Maguire would have not skied the ball. But that's not the point. The point is we are facing Tottenham, who we played 3 days before Christmas on the 22nd of December, and we beat them 6-3. The state of play even in that game, I think we started off so well. The first 55, 60 minutes, we had complete charge of the game. We were pushing the ball really high up. We were controlling the spaces really well. We were cutting through their lines, dissecting their midfield. It was all really fascinating to watch, right? But what happened? We collapsed. The intensity dropped down massively, right? And Tottenham, out of nowhere, scored 3 goals, right? We were on the verge of almost getting nervous. The time was running up for them, but then out of nowhere, we scored another goal thanks to the likes of Gakpo. I think in this game specifically, I've already mentioned I want Gakpo to start. I think Darwin Nunez deserves the minutes. I know people will be laughing at me for this, but I think I'm going to back him up. I think he has so much talent. He's not able to take it out. He's not able to expend it in that box because he gets too nervous. Onslaught needs to find a way, maybe do a one-on-one session with him to compose him a bit, to ensure that he's okay. He needs to understand him. He needs to communicate a little more with him. I know his English is not the best language, but that guy needs to understand that his confidence has been lacking, unlike what he did in the Portuguese league. We need that right now. We need it. especially in these fixtures where you can't really depend on the likes of other players. You need a Darwin Nunez starting for you. I don't even mind a Diogo Jota starting for us, but I think I'll go ahead with Jota for now. I think, yeah, let's just start with Diogo Jota. And Darwin Nunez can come off the bench. If I was the manager, I would go ahead with that. Mohamed Salah has to be on the right. I think we don't have a Premier League fixture. In the weekend. I think for the FA Cup, I don't mind an Harvey Elliott starting ahead or an Endway starting at the back. Midfield, I think Soboslai was lacking even against United. I think in that midfield where Ugarte and Kobe Mino were giving us such a hard time. I know why he deployed Curtis Jones. He wanted to use that press resistance to get past the midline, but Curtis was losing so many grounded duels. He was losing it. He's not been at top of his game in the last couple of weeks. And we need a Soboslai stepping up and giving that level of intensity. I think as usual, Darwin and Soboslai, they expend off a lot of energy on that field. And I'm really happy with the way he defends his spaces and he even tracks back really well. You know, we work as a really well replenished unit right now. We don't even look that tired in games. I think Soboslai has to start in the middle, right? 4-2-3-1. He needs to be the attacking midfielder with McAllister and Gravenberg at the back. I know people have been talking a lot about Gravenberg. Um, he's this mysterious figure who came out of nowhere by Munich. Klopp never really preferred him in that position. Klopp wanted to play him ahead, wasn't really playing well because he lacks that sense of dribbling into the right spaces, even though he's a good dribbler. But under onslaught, I think he's been magnificent as a centre midfielder, progressing ahead as a hybrid 8 or 6, you can call him. McAllister, I feel, is the key to onslaught system. McAllister is the guy who will deliver those key passes when Gravenberg isn't working out for you, when Curtis Jones isn't working out for you, when Sobosai is doing nothing for you. McAllister is always going to be shining out loud, right? The guy loses his legs if he's playing too intense in game, but that's what the system has been really lucrative for all these players, in a way. Um, the rotational regime is working really well, and then expending your energy in the right spaces have worked for them. But the midfielders are doing a tough job in this system, unlike Klopp's. In Klopp's, the wingers were doing the heavy lifting. In this system, the midfielders are doing the heavy lifting. A lot of it. Right back situation. I'm really not gonna start on a monologue about Trent Alexander-Arnold. I feel he needs to be benched. Clearly, Conor Bradley has to start. I think the young lad has been tremendous in each and every game for us, especially last season. Man, that game against Chelsea, the way he scored that goal out of nowhere, and his defensive work rate is impeccable. Right, outstanding. That guy is perfection right now. And he's not the most beautiful, not the most prettiest, stylist player to look at, but I'm really impressed with the way he plays, man. His performances are really to the point. Next to him, Kwanzaa has to start. I know he's a bit. I will be a little iffy about him. I'm not really sure about him, but then you don't have the likes of Joe Gomez. Konate wasn't really fit in the last game. I would rather rest him. I would go with Konsa for sure, and Mr. Van Dijk. Van Dijk, the leader, the legend, has to start for us for sure. I know there was a bit of a conundrum in terms of Trent, drifting into other spaces in the last game, and Van Dijk was really pissed at him. I'm not going to start about that too, either. But Van Dijk has to start for me in this game, and Robertson needs to be rested. Play him in the Premier League game. Simicast needs to start both the games for us, the FA Cup on Saturday or Sunday, and the game which is going to happen tomorrow. We need to realize one thing: Spurs still don't have their backline. Mickey Van de Ven, Romero, Udogi, they're all out, including the likes of Ben Davies. You have a Bentaker who's back. Bissouma might be playing, but we need to hit them at their weakest. Spurs have been not that good this season. We need to ensure we decimate them. We need to ensure we are as confident as we were when we faced them at Anfield. I don't know what really happens to us against United, the FA Cup final, where Diallo scored, and even the last game, and it was all we were all over the place. And this is not the sort of tempo that we need in these games. Come on, man. We've been topping the charts. We've actually been so competitive. People are threatened by onslaught right now. He's a debutant in the Premier League, in English football. He's a debutant and he is on the verge of winning one or two trophies. He might do that. He may do that. So let's just make it happen. Let's just be optimistic. Let's provide all our support. And I'm not trying to say that we are going to be ultras or we're going to be, deluded in this. No. But in this process, we should have faith in him, right? And I do call players out like Trent, and I feel they've been exceptionally abysmal. I did call Trent out, and I think he's on the verge of departing to Real Madrid or whatever it is. He needs to provide some clarity to us. I think we deserve that much. We've been watching him since the longest, since the last 10 years or so. He needs to come out with words of empathy. He needs to tell us if he's staying at the club or if he's departing. That's all I want from him. And if he comes out with this, I would love him to play each and every game this season. He deserves to win the league with us. But for the next game, let's just bench him. Let me know what your thoughts are about the Carabao Cup. I haven't given a prognosis on Spurs, but I know they've been jittery here and there. I've been watching them recklessly. Let's just fuck the shit out of them.